Yes guys, welcome back to another video on the European Football All-Time channel. And today, welcome to my Game Week 18 Serie A predictions. We're back and we're feeling better. And yeah, we got some interesting games this week in Serie A to kick off 2026. So yeah, make sure to smash a like, subscribe, and let's get into the video. And the first game is from the Uniportomos tonight as Cagliari take on AC Milan. Now, Cagliari, their last two games, of course, matchday 16, a 2-2 draw against Pisa. And on matchday 17, they got a big win, actually, 2-1 away at Torino. So, 3 points in the last two games for Cagliari, which isn't bad. Of course, AC Milan didn't play on matchday 16 because they were out in Saudi, where I think they lost in the semi-finals to whoever they played. I can't remember. But, of course, their last Serie A game, they got a comfortable win, 3 goals to nil against Hellas Verona. Now, Milan will be favourites coming into this. I mean, looking at the table, AC Milan do have the chance to go top before Inter play on Sunday against Bologna. I mean, you'd expect AC Milan to be the favourites. Cagliari are down in 14th. They're pretty mid. They're pretty just a mid-table position. I mean, they're, about 6 points clear? 5 or 6 points clear, I think, of Verona in 18th. So they're kind of in that mid-table area. They're not really playing for much, where AC Milan are playing for something. They are obviously fighting to win the league, which is a strong possibility if they keep the form up and the way they're going. I mean, they have actually signed the striker today. They have officially signed Nicholas Füllkrug on loan from West Ham. So maybe that could be a good signing. Füllkrug was decent when he was out in Dortmund. I didn't really do too great at West Ham. Maybe he can find his peak back at AC Milan. Who knows? But yeah, I think AC Milan will win this game quite comfortably, to be honest. So I'm going to go with a 3-0 away win for AC Milan in this game. And we move on to FC Como versus Udinese. Now, Como, of course, their last two games. So, match day 16, they actually didn't play. So, I'm assuming they were meant to play one of the teams that were out in the Super Cup. But match day 17, they did win by 3 goals to nil at Lecce. Udinese, they also didn't. Oh no, they did actually. They got battered 5-1 by Fiorentina on match day 16, giving Fiorentina, in fact, their first win of the season. Of course, we'll talk about them a bit later. Of course, Udinese, last week, they drew 1-1 at home against Lazio, which isn't the worst result, I guess, to be fair. But this will be a tough game for Udinese. Como have been very, very good so far this season. Currently sat in 6th place. So as it stands, they will be in European football next season, which will be a fantastic achievement for a club like Como, considering a couple of years ago they were literally in the 2nd division. And yeah, and I mean, it is quite tight though, to be fair. You got Bologna, a place below them, and a point below them. You got Lazio close to them. You got teams like Sassuolo, Atalanta, who are kind of close to them, but not as close as you think. Udinese currently down in 11th. They are level on points with Atalanta and Sassuolo. So if they do get a win here, Udinese, they could add their name into the European race potentially. But Como are doing very well. Fabregas is doing a fantastic job. Of course, has been linked with the Chelsea job. I don't think he'll go to Chelsea, to be honest. So, yeah, my prediction, I think this will be a comfortable 2-0 home win for FC Como. And we move on to Genoa against Pisa. Now, Genoa, they lost 1-0 to Atalanta on match day 16. And on match day 17, Genoa lost 3-1 away at Roma. So back-to-back defeats for Genoa. So I'll be looking for a win here. And against the Pisa side, who drew 2-2 against Cagliari on match day 16. Match day 17, losing 2-0. At home to Juventus. This is kind of a big game, to be fair, down at the bottom. It is 17th against 19th. Genoa, if they do suffer defeat here and Verona win their game, by a certain amount of goals, Genoa could be back in the relegation zone. So this is a big game, really. They need to get a win, Genoa, but so do Pisa as well. I mean, a win for them. I think they can go level on points with Genoa, and they can. I mean, in fairness to Pisa, if they do win by 2 goals, I think they could actually climb out of the relegation zone. So this is a big game for both teams. I mean, I have said in the last couple of weeks, De Rossi has done quite a decent job since coming in. He's got Genoa out of the relegation zone. Looks like he's got them playing a little bit better football from what I've seen. But like I said, this is a must-win game for both of these teams. Genoa need to win to get away from the relegation zone. Pisa need a win, to get out of the relegation zone. But Genoa are at home. I think they're probably playing better. I think they're probably playing better football at the minute than Pisa are. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Genoa in this game. I think De Rossi's side will get a big win. And we move on to Juventus against Lecce. Now, Juventus in match day 16, they beat Roma by 2-1. Of course, like I said a couple of minutes ago, beating Pisa by... Oh, sorry, I was talking about the wrong game. I've missed the game, sorry. We'll do the Juventus game, then we'll go back to the game I was meant to do. But yeah, of course, Lecce, their last game, they didn't play match day 16, but match day 17, of course, like I said, they did lose to Como. Juventus probably will be favourites coming into this. I mean, where are they in the table? Let's take a look. They are currently 5th at the moment, so they could climb into the top 4 with win. And in fairness to them, they're not that far behind Inter, so maybe Juventus, are they in the title race? Is there a title charge maybe? I don't know, but I think Juventus will probably win this game. So, yeah, I'm going to go Juventus 3, Lecce 0. And let's go back to the game we were meant to do. Guys, my fault. I accidentally skipped it. But Sassuolo against Parma. Sassuolo on match day 16. They lost against Torino. But then they got a decent point away at Bologna on match day 17. As for Parma, they didn't play match day 16, but they did beat Fiorentina by 1-0 on match day 17, which is a big win for them, to be fair. Sassuolo, I mean, a win for them. They're going to 25 points to go above Lazio. They could potentially go 2 or 3 points off the final European spot, which is currently being held by Como. So a win here for Sassuolo could be big. Parma could do with a win as well. I mean, they are, 12, 13, 14, they were currently 5 points above the relegation. So a win, they'll go to 8 points. So a win for Parma could be big as well. But Sassuolo have been quite impressive since they've come back up to Serie A. So I'm going to back them to win by 3-0. And we now move on to the late game on Saturday as Gianpiero Gasperini returns to Bergamo as Atalanta face Roma. Now, of course, Atalanta are currently down in 10th place. They've been a little bit better under Palladino. Even though the last game against Inter wasn't really great from an Atalanta perspective. Roma currently in 4th, 3 points they are behind Inter, who are top of the table, so they could do with a win, really. But I'm sure Gasperini, he'll probably get a nice warm welcome home back from the Atalanta fans, because obviously Gasperini, I mean, he was at Atalanta for quite a long time. But to be fair, Gasperini did very well. Obviously, Gasperini won them the Europa League in 2024, I think, against Bayer Leverkusen. Of course, the only team, in fact, Atalanta, to beat Bayer Leverkusen in that season, because they went unbeaten in the Bundesliga. They won the DFB Pokal, and of course, like I said, Atalanta the only side to beat them in that Europa League final in Dublin. So, and Gasperini, he did a very good job. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I was saying, Gasperini did a very good job at Atalanta. But of course, he's at Roma now, and he's done a good job so far at Roma, to be fair. I mean, like I said, they could do with a win. Of course, Palladino, who of course is the manager now at Atalanta, he's done quite a decent job so far. I mean, either team could do with a win here, but Roma, I'm going to back them to win. So my prediction, Atalanta 0, Roma 2. And the next game, we have got Lazio against Napoli. Of course, Napoli currently in third at the moment. So, of course, if they do win this game, I think they could go top. Actually, I'm not sure because their goal difference is quite bad. But they could go maybe join top with Inter. Of course, Lazio currently down in 8th. Of course, they will move 24, 26, 27. They could move up to 6th, Lazio. If they do win this game. Of course, Napoli, I think they lost. I don't know. I think they won, actually, the Super Cup out in Saudi. I think they beat Bologna in the final. I'm not too sure. But last week, they did get a 2-0 win away at Cremonese, which I think took them top. Well, it keeps them in the title race, I should say. Anyway, but I think Napoli will probably be favourites. Like I said, I say it most weeks about Lazio. I say it most weeks, really, about Lazio. They're just one of those teams where they're just a bit... One week they're good, one week they're shit. So, yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 to Napoli in this game. So, yeah, let's move on to Fiorentina versus... who are they playing? They're playing Cremonese. And, of course, Fiorentina on match day 16... They won a game. Let's give a round of applause. Fiorentina have finally won a game. It took them 16 games, but they have finally won. But they did return to losing ways after losing at Pisa last week. Cremonese, of course, last week, like I just said, they did lose to Napoli. And they did draw with Lazio on match day 16. So, yeah, I mean, Fiorentina, I mean, they have got Manuel Solomon on loan from Spurs. So, of course, wishing Manuel all the best of luck at Fiorentina. I mean, they needed to win it. They needed to win a game at some point. I mean, to beat Udinese as well. I mean, they're doing okay, Udinese. So to beat them was, I mean, they just needed to win a game, really, Fiorentina. But they are still quite a bit off safety. They're, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. They're 5 points off safety. So they can get a win here, and other teams around them drop points, then they could have a chance of staying up. But Cremonese, I mean, they have been struggling recently, so maybe there's a chance for Fiorentina to get another win here. But I'm going to go with a draw in this game. My prediction, Fiorentina 1, Cremonese 1. And we move on to the penultimate game, which is Hellas Verona against Torino. Now, Torino have been struggling a little bit recently, losing last week against Cagliari in the week before. Well, they did win actually at Sassuolo. So they got a good result the week before, but last week, not a great result against Cagliari. As for Verona, of course, who did they play last week? They lost against Milan 3-0, and the week before, they didn't play. So, yeah, I mean, Torino, they probably want to win this game, to be fair. They're currently sat 13th, mid-table. Verona probably need this more than Torino. They're currently sat 18th. They could come out of the bottom three if they do win this game, depending on other results as well. But I think Torino will be a bit too strong, so I'm going to go 2-0 to Torino. And the final game then of game week 18 in Serie A is Inter Milan, the league leaders, in fact, against Bologna. Of course, these two teams actually, I think, played each other in the semi-final of the Super Cup out in Saudi. I think Bologna won on penalty. So these two teams obviously facing off quite recently. So we'll see what happens in the league then. Inter obviously will be looking to stay top heading into the next match week. Bologna could do with a win because they were in the top four, but they have been struggling recently. I don't think they've won any of their last 4 games. Bologna, so they seem to be slipping behind a little bit. You know, teams like Juventus have gone above them, Como have gone above them. Teams like Lazio and Sassuolo and Atalanta are starting to close in on them. So, yeah, they need to start getting back to winning ways, Bologna. But this won't be easy against an Inter side who have been very good this season. I think defensively they look solid going forward. They look good as well. But Bologna as well going forward do look decent. Riccardo Orsolini does like a goal against Inter, so maybe he could cause a threat to that Inter defence. Who knows? But I do think Inter will win this game. Bologna just seem to be struggling recently. So, yeah, my prediction is 2-1 to Inter Milan. And there we go. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Smash the like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Arrivederci.